भगवती अष्टादशाध्यायिनी अम्ब त्वामनुसन्ददामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुत्सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Hari Om. In our Navratri celebrations, the next 3 days will be worshipping Mother Saraswati, who is the goddess of knowledge. So we are blessed that we have this opportunity to study this text together due to the blessings of Bhagwan Sri Krishna, Mother Saraswati and Puja Gurudev. So in the 16th chapter, Bhagwan first talked about the Devi Sampatti, the two kinds of wealth, Devi and Asuri. And the Devi are the good qualities which were covered in the first 3 chapters. And then he said these divine qualities will take us upwards, but these Asuri qualities or the negative qualities will bind us. And we have seen that we are a mixture of both. It's not that we are only Devi or only Asuri, but we are a mixture of both. And the idea is to strengthen the Devi qualities and go away from the Asuri or the undivine devilish qualities. So in the 7th shloka onwards, Bhagavan talks about the qualities of these Asuri people. Most of this chapter tells us what not to do, how not to live this life. And he talks about these people who are selfish, who don't know what to do, and whose only goal is to acquire as much as possible, and in the process, destroy all enemies. So they see the whole world as an enemy, and how many enemies I can conquer. Aso maya hata shatru hatre hanishye chaparanapi, and I will destroy all the other enemies because I am the Lord. I am Ishvara, I am God. They don't believe in any other God except themselves. And we have seen that in not only in the ancient times, but in modern times also. These leaders become so powerful that they think that nobody is equal to them. So that is what we have covered up to the 16th chapter, where these people have extreme amount of desires, extreme amount of passions. And when they don't get what they want, they manifest as anger, as greed, as jealousy. So today we shall continue these qualities of these undivine people from shloka number 17. So chapter 16, shloka 17. You may please repeat after me. Those on Zoom, you can keep muted and please chant after me. Atma sambhavita stabdha.
Atma sambhavita.
Dhanamana madanvitaha. Yajante nama yajnaiste. Dambhena vidhipurvakam. Together. Atma sambhavita stabdha. Dhanamana madanvitaha. yajante nama yajnaiste dambhena vidhi purvakam. So Bhagwan is continuing his description of these people. Atma Sambhavita means proud of their own, how great I am. So they give themselves certificate. I am the greatest. I am the best. There is nobody like me. Kon yosti sadrisho maya. There is no one else like me. And stabdha. Stabdha means pillar. So they are rigid like a pillar. They are very stubborn. You cannot change them from their ideas. We'll talk about that. And Dhanamana, they have such pride about their wealth, their possessions, their power, that mother, they are intoxicated with the pride of their own wealth, their own power, their own prosperity. Madan Vitaha, they are completely intoxicated with this wrong ideas. And they may also do yajnas, they may also do rituals, yajante, yajnai, but what kind of rituals they do? Nama yajna, just for the namesake. As in Hindi, they say naam ke vaste. They just do it not because they sincerely believe in it, but there are other reasons. We'll talk about that. And they do it dambhena, with hypocrisy. They are not truly spiritual, but their activities are out of hypocrisy. And these yajnas, these rituals, they have to follow certain rules, but they do it without rules. Avidhi purvakam. It's a little warm. We can either put on the AC or the fan. The record is on. Record is on. Thank you. So, Atma Sambhavita, they are arrogant, they are rigid, they are proud of their wealth, they are intoxicated, and they do yajnas, but just for hypocrisy, for show, and without following the rituals, without following the proper injunctions. So the first point is that, do they believe in Shastras? And so there are two kinds of Asuri people. One is who don't believe in Shastras at all. They say there is no Shastra, it is all bogus. Some rishi sitting 5,000 years ago somewhere in the forest, he wrote something. Why should we believe it in the modern age? So they absolutely have no faith in Shastra. And they are the kind who just live the life the way they want. The second is they believe in Shastra, but they don't practice it properly. Whatever is convenient, they will take, and what is not convenient, they will remove. So these are the people we are talking about. We say, yeah, I know there is Bhagavad Gita, there is Upanishad, I believe in it, I believe in God. But when it comes to actions in the world, they just do whatever they want. Why? Because these things are not practical. Maybe after retirement, after old age, or these things are good for swamis, let them do it. In this modern day world, you can't survive without, cheating, without dog eat dog. That's all these phrases they use. But at the same time, because they are believing in scriptures, they give themselves a certificate. I am holy, I am good, because I get up in the morning and I chant, or I do some puja, or I go to the temple once a week. But even there, they go to ask, God, give me this, give me that, don't give me this. So even their belief in Shastras is colored by selfishness. So they Atma Sambhavita means they themselves think they are great, and they give themselves certificate. I am holy, I am good. This other guy, he's not good because he doesn't go to the temple. He may be living a very good life, but they look down on people who don't follow their point of view. And they are extremely proud about their own achievements. And then stabdha. Stabdha means like a pillar. Like a pillar, it never bends, right? A pillar stays straight, no matter even the Mahatma comes, even God himself comes, pillar will remain straight, pillar. So they are like that, stabdha. They will not bow down to anybody. They will not bend for anybody. I alone am important. And why should I bow down to anybody? I don't care. He may be a Mahatma, he may be anybody. Even these Rakshasas, even when God came in front of them and showed them, like Duryodhan, Bhagwan Sri Krishna showed him his Virat Roop, he still said, it's some magic. It's not, he's not God. He's just an ordinary human being. And so these people remain like pillars and they say, I cannot change. Another group is, they say, I want to change, but I cannot. This one is, I don't want to change. Other one is, I want to, but I cannot. You know why? Because I am a Leo, and Leo believes in domination. So I can't change. Or I am my DNA. I went to the doctor and he told me, you have some chemical imbalance. That's why you have this problem. So I can't change. Or I am cancer, and cancer is very stubborn. Buddha said it very beautifully. He said, I abhor astrology. I do not, because people get so caught up in this, that I am this, and then some rishi tells them, you are that, and then they follow it for their whole lifetime. I don't know if I had told you, but I had met this very educated man who was a very important person in one of the American companies, an Indian. And some Jyotishi astrologer had told him when he was a young man that you should eat on Friday before 6. Now, 40 years later, he's still following that. If he goes to a party, he says, if I can't eat before 6, I won't eat. And his whole family has to, if they go out for dinner, I mean, and I showed him, and he said some star, Shani or something. And I don't know if I told you, but I showed him this bhajan, Janaki Nath Sahai Kare. And I said, Suraj, Mangala, Graha, Shani, none of these matter if Bhagwan Ram is with you. And he got angry with me. He was so upset with me because for 40 years he had believed that there is this Shani Devta who is against him. And his whole family believed it. I don't know. I believe that if God is with you, everything is good. But anyway, that's another story. So people have such firm belief that I cannot change, and Gurudev in his commentary said, they think I'm hopeless. I tried, but I can't change. But Buddha says it, Gurudev says it, all the Mahatma says it, that you can change. All you have to do is decide in your mind, what is my goal? What is my purpose? To think that I am helpless. You are a human being. You have intellect. Gurudev says you have been given this wisdom. And so apply this wisdom in your life. Why do you say that I cannot change? I cannot get better. I will always remain like that. That is called hopelessness. And even though he has read the scriptures, even though he has the ideals, he said, मेरे से तो नहीं होगा. I can't do it. Maybe in my next life. So they put everything to next life, or maybe after retirement, or maybe after I finish this project I need to cheat to become successful. So they keep postponing and they do not have any hope in themselves. And so they say it's there in the scriptures, but I just can't follow it. Its instructions are given. And then same thing about the wealth. I am the richest, I am the most powerful. If I don't have this wealth, I will get it from everybody. And they forget that whatever I have is a result of my past karma. They are grateful instead of being grateful to God and saying that, okay, I must have done some good karmas because of which I have a healthy body, I have a healthy mind, I have wealth, I have a nice house, no, they won't be grateful to anybody. And they don't realize that if you don't continue to do good karmas, this will go away. Whatever I have acquired is the result of my past karma, but what I get in the future will be the result of my present karma. To give us a simple example, say I'm very healthy, right? My blood pressure is good, my cholesterol is good, My blood sugar is good. Everything is good. Why? Because I have been exercising, eating a healthy diet, avoiding fatty foods, sugars, and taking care of my body, eating well, exercising. And then after a while, I say, you know what, I'm healthy now. I'm going to stop all that. So I stop exercise. I eat whatever I want, junk food and sugar and fatty foods and fried. And then what happens? I start gaining weight and I gain weight, and then my sugar goes up, my cholesterol goes up. Then the doctor says, you have blocked arteries in the heart. Why? I had good health because of my good karmas, but now I have gone away from that. So I lost my health. So same thing happens with wealth. Or another example is a student who is doing very well in the class. He's number one. He's the first in his class in high school. Why? Because he's in the 9th or 10th grade. Because he studies every day. He does his homework. He listens to the teacher. He listens to the parents, and he, focuses on his work. But then after 10th grade, because he was first in his class, he becomes arrogant. He said, I don't need to study. I'm smart. I can do well. And then in 11th grade, he stops studying and he just hangs out with his friends and internet and parties and all. What will happen? His grade will suffer. From A, he will become B, C. So same way, these people who have wealth, they have to realize, or even success in life, it is because of Bhagwan's blessings and because of my karmas. And I have to keep doing good karmas if I want to progress. But if I forget, then I will go back and I will fall back in my path. So these beautiful examples I heard from some commentary, and this is very practical in our life. So I thought it was very useful. So, and Dhanamana Madanvita, we talked about now. Yajante Nama Yajna Isti Te Dambhe Na Avidhi Purvakam. So, even though they may do yagnas, they may do some prayers, they may do some rituals, but they do it why? To show off, to let the world know I'm such a religious guy. I do. And they will do big yajnas and, invite even the top leaders and politicians. Not again because they believe in this, but because this will give me more contacts. I will be able to meet some politicians. I will show them how dambha means hypocrisy. I will show how religious I am, how spiritual I am, how evolved I am. And then I can get this particular contract because I know that particular politician is religious. So I will impress him. So they do yajnas, but just to show off. With dambhena. Dambha means to show off and just to let the world know. And then the article will come in the paper, this person did a huge prayer and he donated so much money, but he is donating because he expects to get a lot more back. And then it is said, avidhi purvakam. Avidhi purvakam means they do not follow the instructions. See, yajnas have to be done with a particular set of instructions, injunctions. They don't follow. They take shortcuts. They say, "Arey, 1 ghante ka yajna, that's too long. Cut it short." And so they will give extra $50 to the Panditji. Instead of 1 hour, I want it done in 20 minutes, because I have an appointment. So that is called avidhi purvakam. You are not following the instructions. You are not following the injunctions. You are not following the discipline. And then you don't get the benefit of the yajna. So that's what they say. Just naam ke vaste, just for namesake they do it, but not because they sincerely believe in it. Not only that, but then they will give discourses, talks to others. You must do this yajna. See how much I do. You also need to. So they will give advice where it's not asked, or they will do advice to show off, or they will even give lectures, how important it is to do this. They will talking about lectures reminds me of a story. So there was this policeman who was patrolling in the downtown around 3 a.m. He had a night shift and he saw this old man walking out of a bar, staggering, barely can walk, almost falling. So he said, this guy is obviously drunk. I said, I hope he's not planning to drive. So this man keeps on walking. He's barely able to cross the street. He's falling over. And so the policeman finally says, let me ask him, what's going on. So he says, sir, where did you come from? He said, I came from this bar. It is the best bar. He said, really? Yeah, the bar is nice. The girls are beautiful, the bartenders, and they serve you all the drinks you want. As long as you are ready to pay, I have a lot of money, so I just had all the drink. Sir, you had all the drink? He said, yeah, I am very happy. I'm in good shape. Sir, where are you going, sir? He said, I'm going to a lecture. He said, at 3 a.m., you are going to a lecture? He says, yeah. He said, what is the lecture about? He says, it's about the evils of drinking and smoking and the social consequences of alcoholism. So he said, at 3 a.m., who's going to be giving a lecture about the evils of drinking, smoking, and the social effects of alcoholism? I don't think there will be a lecture like that at 3 a.m. He said, why don't you tell this to my wife? She's the one. So the thing is that even when somebody is trying to give them good advice, they don't want to follow because they say, I'm an alcoholic. I can't give up alcohol. You are who made this vasana, who made this habit? You yourself, right? Nobody else poured alcohol down your throat. So you made this bad habit, you can change it. Don't think that, oh, I'm helpless. I have always been smoking, so I can't give up smoking. And that's how people get addicted to drugs, smoking, alcohol. And then as a result of that, all the negative consequences, as we said, the negative social effects of drinking, smoking, drugs, where they cheat from others. If they need a drug, they will steal if they don't have the money. So all that is asuri. So that is what Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, that these people are arrogant, they are rigid and proud of their wealth. And even if they do rituals or any prayers, it is just to show off without right chanting of the mantras. In the 17th chapter, Bhagavan will tell us in more detail about the three kinds of yajnas: sattvic, tamas, rajasic, and tamasic. And we'll talk about that in more detail in the 17th chapter. But basically, he says yajnas done without rituals, without giving dakshina to the Brahman, to the one who is doing mantra, is tamasic. So that is how this will be explained in more detail in the 17th chapter. Now we'll go to shloka number 18. Aham karam balam darpam kamam krodham cha samshritaha mamatma paradeheshu pradvishyantobhyasuyakaha. Together, aham karam balam darpam kamam krodham cha samshritaha mamatma paradeheshu pradvishyantobhyasuyakaha. Beautiful verse. Further, Bhagavan is describing these people. Ahankar, we all know, I, the notion that I am this body. See, that is the main ahankar. I am this body, this mind, this intellect. That is all I am. And my purpose of my life is to take care of this body, enjoy as much as I can, and impose my ideas on others. So that is ahankara. And then how do they do that? With balam. They have a lot of power. They have force because they have earned money dishonestly. They are wealthy, but they don't realize the consequences that if money is earned dishonestly, it will sooner or later you will go down with it. So, but they have wealth because they have power. And then darpam means again arrogance. They are very arrogant about themselves, very arrogant. And as a result of that, they have kama, they have desire, and they have krodha. Kama, desire, and anger. Why? Because when I get what I want, I'm happy. When I don't get what I want, I get angry. Cha, kama and krodha cha. So ahankar, bala, darpa, kama, krodha. 5 qualities Bhagwan has given, 5 adjectives, 5 certificates. Cha means and. So all 5. So all 5 they have. It's when he says cha at the end of 4 or 5 things, that means all of them, yes. And samshritaha means they take ashraya in that. That's all they do. Pride, arrogance, desire, anger, that's all their life is. And why do they do that? And what is the result of that happening? It is very sad. Bhagavan says, Mama, I, here not only Bhagavan Sri Krishna is the one in the form, but Bhagavan Sri Krishna as our true self, our true nature, who is not only our nature, but the nature of all beings. There is one God, one Brahman, one consciousness. That is the self of all animals, birds, plants, fish, and all humans. And that is the same one that manifests as Bhagavan Sri Krishna, Sri Rama. He manifested as Jesus, as Buddha, as Shankaracharya ji, Pujya Gurudev, Swami Chenmayananda. So all these great avatars or the teachers of the truth who taught us this message are all manifestations of one infinite consciousness. So Bhagavan says, I am the infinite conscious within you. That's what Bhagavan says. And not only you, but all, in everybody. So Mama Atma, in me, and Paradeheshu, and in all. I am that one self. Pradvishyantaha. They become haters. They hate me, who is within them and in everybody else, because God is in everybody. So that's what I was reading somewhere. It says, if you hurt somebody, it is God alone is there. Hari and Hari Jan are one. If I break a tree unnecessarily, it is I am hurting God, because God is there. In fact, in one of the Upanishad, it is said very beautifully, you may break a leaf here, but you cannot break a leaf without disturbing some star millions of miles away, because we are all connected. So unnecessarily doing harm to others, you are hurting God, who is God is within us. And abhyasuyaka, they are evil people. They are very low kind of people. That's what Bhagavan says. So let us see ahankara. Ahankara means I. This wrong notion of who I am. The Gita already in the 2nd chapter, Bhagavan had told us, and many times, that each of one of us are a manifestation of that divinity. But we forget that. And then we think I am this individual, male, female, young, old, short, tall, and that is who I am, Indian, American, white, black. And that is my purpose in life. That is my goal in life. And that is all. And where does this come from? It comes from avidya, from ignorance. Not knowing who I am, not following the scriptures. I think I am this limited body. And the most beautiful example of something coming out of ignorance is, look in the Kauravas. Dhritarashtra was blind. And his first son was who? Duryodhana, who was the epitome of arrogance, pride, ahankar, wrong notions, wrong ideas. And it's interesting that Dhritarashtra was married to Gandhari, who was the mother of these. Now she had eyes, right? She could have guided him correctly. But foolishly, she also put patti on her eyes and made herself blind. Oh, I am a pativrata. So instead of guiding her husband, it became worse, because 2 blind people, and so they produced 100 children who were all absolutely arrogant, ahankara, bala, darpam, all these qualities they had. So if one person has wisdom, he should guide another, not himself become that. That is the most foolish thing. People think, oh, she was very great because she sacrificed her eyes for her husband. That was foolishness. She should have guided her husband properly. At least she had eyes. But anyways, I know I shouldn't get into, but the point is that product of blindness is ignorance. Avidya. Out of avidya comes ahankar. And that's what happened. All those 100 brothers were evil, and they've always fought, and they did bad for their country, and they did bad for the Pandavas, and ultimately the whole family was destroyed. All the 100 brothers were killed, and Dhritarashtra and Gandhari were sad because their 100 children perished, but they didn't realize that it is their own fault. See, you blame somebody else. So they were blaming Krishna, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Oh, because of Krishna, my 100. And she even cursed him. Gandhari cursed Bhagavan himself, that may you die a violent death because you were the cause of my 100 children dying. And that's what, and Bhagavan, to fulfill that, he gave up his life shot by an arrow. But the point is that we blame others, but we don't look within ourselves that did I contribute to this? These 100 children had been properly guided by their parents. Maybe there might not have been a Mahabharata war, so much destruction. So out of avidya comes ahankar. That's a very important point, that this arrogance comes out of ignorance. And then they have balam. But Bhagavan Sri Krishna says that they have power, but Bhagavan says power should be used properly. He says, balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam. So the power should be there. Person, if he has power, he should use it in the right way to benefit society, to do good for others, to help others, not with selfishness, with attachment. If that power is used properly, then that is me, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says. But if that power is misused, then I am not that. And he says also, kama should be dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. He says the desire is okay to have, but the desire should not be against dharma. It should be for dharma, that I want to be if I have a desire to be more evolved, I have a desire to chant more, I have a desire to pray more, I have a desire to serve the world, I have a desire to know God, I have a desire to get the right knowledge. So desire can be used for selfish means or can be used to serve others, that I wish to serve. Ultimately, even that desire should go away, and I should just say that I am a humble servant of God. God is working through me. But in the beginning, one can start with that. Okay, I wish to make the world a better place. Ultimately, you say, I am nobody. Who am I to do anything? Bhagavan alone is doing everything. So that is why Bhagavan says that I am in those people who use their desire to serve the world and do dharma, who use their power to serve the world, not in those who misuse the power and use wrong desires. I thought that was very good, that Bhagavan says, yes, it is okay to have power, okay to have desire, but use that for betterment of yourself and betterment of the world. And he says, they hate me, who is your true nature, because by doing such wrong actions, they are hurting God within and they are hurting God elsewhere. If I hurt somebody unnecessarily, wrongly, or break something, or kill somebody, or torture somebody, or I am violent with my speech or with my thoughts, I'm hurting God in them, because God is everything is, that's what we say, sarva khalu idam brahma, everything is Brahman alone. Upanishads say that everything, whether it's a chair or a table or a stone or a plant or a tree, animal, bird, fish, everything is that one Brahman appearing as all these. So when I am hurting anybody, Bhagavan says, you are hurting me, who is within you. So when you are doing all these things, God is not happy. And that's what they say. If you want to make God happy, make yourself happy, that what is the right thing I should do. And when I do the meritorious deeds, don't do sins, then I am happy. God within is being happy everywhere. And I am serving the world as a agent of the Lord, as the. And there is a very beautiful word in Sanskrit. It's called Abhya Suyata. Suyata means one who sees bad even in the good. And Abhya means all over. So Abhya Suyata means these people don't see goodness anywhere, even if there is some good person. They will say, yeah, aisa nahi hai. He's actually inside, he's corrupt. I know all his story. He's just showing up. And they will even criticize saints, and they will criticize Mahatmas, and they will criticize Bhagwan Sri Krishna himself and Sri Rama, oh, he did so many wrong things, and Bhagwan, all wrong. They will take the same incidents from Ramayana and Mahabharata and twist to them to show that Bhagwan was wrong, or they will find some saintly person and they'll say, I know his history, he was like that, he was like that. So even among good people, they will find bad things. And whatever the spiritual instructions are there, they won't follow them. They will just do what they want. And their whole goal is how much can acquire for myself, how powerful I can make myself. There's a very beautiful story. We have some time, so I'll tell that. I just recently heard it. Very interesting story. So there was this king, very powerful. He conquered that whole area, became very wealthy, and became a very powerful king. That whole state in those days was huge, and many states he had conquered, and many became very powerful. But he appreciated wisdom, and so his court was filled with wise people, and they would give him advice, and but he was still had a lot of power. So he wanted to get better. That's why he had wise people, but not always he would follow their advice. So one day he says, I have too many wise people in my court. Let me get a fool. I also want a foolish person. Listening to wise advice is not maja nahi hai. Just talking, they talk only scriptures. I want some foolish person. So they go through the kingdom and they find this one man they say he's a fool. So they bring him to the court, and the king asks him question, and he gives a foolish answer. And the whole court laughs at him. Ha, ha, ha. King is very happy. So whenever he wants to be entertained, he will ask the fool some question, and he will give a foolish reply, and everybody laughs. And so they have fun at his expense. And the king ordered a special fool's crown for him, which was very crooked, very ugly looking. Said, this is the crown you will wear in my kingdom. So that poor guy used to wear that crown every day and come to the court, and they gave him a house nearby, and he'll come every day, and the king will have fun at his expense. And so this went on for many years, and finally the king became old, and he became very sick. And all the doctors came, Vaidyas came from all over the kingdom. Nobody could make him better, and the king was on his last days. He knew that I'm not going to live very long. He was in really bad shape. He could hardly breathe. And he said, I need to be entertained. I'm so sad. He said, call that fool. So he calls that. The fool is called. They say, the king is sad. He's dying. So he needs to be entertained. So fool comes, he has been paid to be a fool, right? So he comes. So king says, somehow that day he got a little wisdom. Last days, sometimes you get a little, mind gets a little clear. So he says, all these years, I have been asking you questions. Today, you ask me questions. Fool said, I asked the question to the king? Yes, don't worry. You can ask me any question. So fool says, Maharaj, I know you are not well. So what's going to happen? He says, I'm going to die. He says, so when you die, where will you go? He says, I'll go to my Parvartigar, I'll go to my God. He said, how long you will stay there? He said, I'll stay there for a long time, forever. So fool says, oh, you're going to stay there for a long time? Then you must have made all good arrangements to stay there. Like you have made arrangements here, you must have done all beautiful arrangements to stay with God. And the king suddenly realized, he started crying. And he took the fool's hat and he said, I should put the hat on my head. You are not the fool, I am. My whole life I spent in acquiring and possessing, and with my power, I didn't at all spend even a moment thinking about when I go to God, what am I going to do? What am I? He says, you are not the fool, I am the fool. And that's how we are, like that king, where all we do is, what can I do in this world? And we don't spend any time thinking about the afterworld, that when I leave this body, and everybody has to leave. You may live 70 years, 80 years, 90 years, 100 years. Ultimately, to chhodna hi hai. And where we have to go, that is what we should pay attention on, not what is important in this world. Yes, I have to take care of my body, live healthy, eat well, and have enough for retirement and all. But beyond that, I must do things for others so that I may, when I go to God, Bhagavan will say, welcome. Saint Peter will be standing at the gate, or Yamaraj, and say, welcome, to heaven, because you have done good. Not, I'm going to throw you in hell, which Bhagavan will tell in the next shloka. So that is this beautiful story. I thought it's a very powerful story about who is the real fool. So we'll go to shloka number 90. Tanham dvishata kruran samsareshu naradhaman Shipam yajasrama shubhan asurishveva yonishu. Together. Tanaham dvishata kruran samsareshu naradhaman Shipam yajasrama shubhan asurishveva yonishu. So what happens to these people, Bhagwan? You have told all these long adjectives you have given. What happens to them? What do you do with them? So Bhagavan says, I'll tell you, this is a very scary shloka. And you see that how, and it's not that Bhagavan does, it is our own karmas that are doing it. It's not that he chooses, but he says, I do it here. I here means the law of karma. See, Bhagavan Shri Krishna represents the law of karma. So tan aham. So I, Bhagavan says, Dvishata kruran. Dvishata means hateful people. Kruran means cruel. See, the same word krura becomes cruel in English, in Sanskrit, krura. So these cruel people, and samsareshu nara adhaman, they are the lowest of the lowest in this world. Not only in this world, in all the world, samsareshu. Nara adhaman, they are the lowest of the human beings. All these qualities he has given to these people. We have all these shlokas from 7 onward until 18. He has mentioned what these people do. Now, what is the result of that? So he says in Bhagavad Gita, he never says, Bhagavan says, do this, don't do this. He says, if you do this, this will happen. If you don't do this, this will happen. Now the choice is yours. So here he says, to these people who are hateful, I throw them, shipami, I throw them. I again means the law of karma throws them. Ajasrisham. Ajasrisham means forever, for long period of time. Where do I throw them? Ashubhan. So these people who are ashubha, who are evil, who don't do the right thing, where do I put them? Asurishu eva yonishu. I put them in yonis. I put them in womb where they live an asuri life. Say you further, yes, I give them what they want, what they deserve. And we'll talk about what are these asuri yonis. These asuric wombs that create asuric individuals. So as we said, Gurudev in his commentary says very beautifully, this whole world is action and reaction. Whatever actions you do, you get the result. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna is not sitting there punishing. He's just giving us the result of our actions. If I have a good body, I have done good actions. And next life, or in this life itself, if I do bad things, I will get bad actions. And what are these Asuri yonis? The rest we have talked about. They are low, they are cruel, they are wicked. We have already talked about that. We'll talk about the second part. He says, I give them wombs that are Asuri wombs. What do we mean by that? I make them into a tiger or a lion. I put them in the womb of a tigress or a lioness. So they are born as tiger and lion. And what does a tiger do? His whole life is to scare. Everybody, deers are scared of him, buffalo is scared. And how does he live? By violence. He will jump upon a deer, hide and grab him, tear him to pieces and eat the meat. So that is the kind of yonis, because they have been violent their whole life. So next life, let them be more violent. That's all they deserve. So, and they will stay in such yonis for long period of time, maybe for several births. And you think these yonis are happy? No, a tiger is hunted by animals, or the lion, they put him in a cage in the zoo, and then he's walking around and they're feeding him meat, or they put him in a circus and make him perform. So these are not happy yonis where everybody fears you and you are angry. So that's what Bhagavan says. These are the wombs I put them in. Tigers, lions, wolves, like that. And he says that, why do I do that? Because only through suffering, that's what in Tamasic, he says, people only improve through suffering. They suffer, and then through suffering, they get better. So example, I was reading in one of the commentaries, like a car wash. You take a car which is very dirty, you came from a long trip, has all mosquitoes on the windshield, and you've been through some rain and mud and dirt and muck, and your car is all filthy. And then you take it through this automatic car wash, not a hand car wash, this machine car wash. And these brushes come and they rub the car hard, hard, hard. But then you come out, the car is clean, shiny, new, all the dirt is gone. So similarly, when I'm going through hard times, it is Bhagwan is putting us through this car wash and cleaning us so that we may come out clean. So when there are sorrows, one should think, okay, Bhagwan, thankfully, yes, you are washing me. Harder brushes are coming harder and harder and cleaning my dirt, my body, my mind. So that is, see how these Mahatmas, teachers, even from car wash, they come up with examples. It's amazing to listen to them. Simple things. I never thought of that car wash as being so that's what I'm saying, that these situations make us realize that sorrow is making us clean, making us purer. Like there's this story I heard where there was this boy it was raining, cloudy. He said, I don't like cloud, I don't like rain. I like only blue sky and sun, because I can play outside with my friends. And the father says, son, only blue sky leads to desert. It's a very profound statement. If everything is good, your life will be a desert. In your life, you need some clouds, you need some rain. Then only your life will bloom. Then only trees will bloom and plants will bloom and grains will grow. So just having what I want is not okay. Sometimes I have to get things that I don't want to improve. And I heard about a very beautiful concept in Buddhism called karma daru. Daru here means street, road, does not mean drink, in Hindi. Karma daru. So what happened is there is this road of karma where you are walking, and then when the road ends, you go to heaven or hell, when your life ends. But on both sides, there are trees and there are bats, these bats, these black bats sitting on the trees on both sides. And you've gone to heaven or hell or what, finished your life. And when you come back to the earth on that road, the bats come into your backpack. Bats means all these bad karmas, these bad thoughts. You can't escape them. They are waiting. Arey, kab aayega ye? And they will jump into your backpack and stay with you all the life. If you want a good life, fill those trees with beautiful birds. So when your next life, when you come back, your backpack is filled with beautiful birds and butterflies and not black bags. So the point is that our karmas, we cannot escape. This life, next life, all of them, they will go on. So then somebody says, Bhagwan, you are Karuna Sagar, you are so kind, you are so compassionate, you are so loving. And how come you are using such strong words? Shepamya Jashaham Shrubhan Asuri Shep. I throw them into these evil wombs. Bhagwan says, I am Karuna Sagar. The problem is you are not doing anything to get this karmas. I am ready to offer. That's why he says, the example they gave is you have 35% marks, right? And you say, I want to get admission to the best college. Bhagwan says, if you have 85% marks, I could make it 87, and maybe that college needs 87%. So if you have done 85%, I can give you 87. That is my compassion, and you can get into that college. If you only have 35 and then you're saying, Bhagwan, give me 87, I can't do that. So similarly, we have to put our effort, and then Bhagwan's grace is there. I don't do anything and I say, God, you take care of me. You are Karuna Sagar. You are Lord Shiva, who is very kind, compassionate, all auspicious. You can say that, but you have to put in the effort and you have to ask Bhagwan, Bhagwan, you give me the strength to live a life of goodness so that I may become deserving of your Karuna. I have to become deserving. Karuna is not going, Karuna is flowing, but if I am not making myself deserving, how can I expect that? But even there, Bhagavan says it in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Api chet chur suduracharaha bhajate mam ananya bha sadhureva samantavyaha samyak vyavasito hi saha Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat chantim nigachati Konteya prati janihi name bhakta pranashyati. He says, even the most evil person, sudurachara, the most evil person, bhajate mam ananyava, if he worships me, turns toward me, and sincerely works for me, means improves his life, then sadhu, and I consider him sadhu. Why? Because he has put his mind, and very quickly he becomes dharmatma, and he gets the supreme peace. Because, oh Kanteya, oh Arjuna, my devotee never perishes. So Bhagwan doesn't say that you are condemned for life. You have a human body, you have a human intellect. No matter how you have lived your life, we can always improve, always get better. So never we are condemned. It's not that you are condemned to hell or condemned to heaven forever. You have an opportunity. You may go through these tiger wombs and you may go through buffalo and mosquito, but eventually everybody has a chance to improve. And if you have a human birth and have this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, you have no excuse. So that's what Bhagavan says. And once you turn towards me, my karuna, my compassion is always there because I am you. I am your own self. I am not separate from you. So these are the beautiful shlokas where these people who are wrongfully guided and do the wrong things, follow rituals in a wrong way, they suffer the consequences. But if they turn towards me, Bhagavan says, I can be Karuna Sagar. I am Karuna Sagar. I am compassionate. Beautiful shlokas teach us so much, and it is so practical in this Kali Yuga. So thank you very much. I am blessed that I have this opportunity to share this knowledge and listen to other Mahatmas. I try to listen to 3-4 commentaries and share that knowledge. So thank you very much. I bow down to all of you. Any questions, any comments anybody has in the audience or in Zoom, anybody would like to add? Kerry, you want to say something? No, okay. Kusum, anything you would like to add from Gurudev's commentary?
I just like it the way how Lord Krishna is reiterating the law of action,
Yes.
like karma. If you do good, you will have this. You not do this, because he's a karma phal data, and also the law of karma is the maker of law of karma. So I
Yes.
like that idea, and this gives us more information about reincarnation. So if you do good, you know that you will have that opportunity to ultimately realize the self right away. If we do good, so all these are so beautiful if we just put it for ourselves rather than
Yes.
looking into any other person, how he is or she is. But if I look into myself and say how much I can improve and get positive so I can go higher and higher. So I think this is just integrating in again and again law of action.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
then next time I'll tell the story of the four kings. You said one king. Next time I'll tell four kings,
Okay.
which is so beautiful.
Okay. Thank you. We'll give you some time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Moini auntie, anything you would like to add? Any
No,
question?
I really enjoyed it. It was what you jo karo wo bharo.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Jo karo wo bharo. Right. You will get what you deserve. Anybody else in the audience? Any question? Anything?
No, it's good. I'm blessed, so blessed to hear this one. It's awesome.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, Carrie, go ahead, please.
You know, I did have something. Oh, the last verse, you know, where you were talking about, you know, into the wombs of demons. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, when I read that, I thought, well, he means that he's going to send you back, you know, to like in a rebirth into a really awful family, you know, maybe drunkards or drug addicts and, you know, a really
Yes.
bad family. So first of all, I wondered how you thought it would be like tigers. And in a way, I don't really think of a tiger as asuric. I mean, it can't, you know, the tiger can't change its stripes, you know, it's a carnivore. It is what it is. And it really is, it isn't really cruel. I mean, it eats what it has to eat. But then I thought also, you know, the whole idea of sending someone to a bad family, I mean, you don't get good people by bringing them up in a bad family.
Yes.
I don't know. I just wondered
No, that's true.
your
See,
thoughts on that.
right. No, that's a very good question. But if you have done mixed deeds, you become a human. If you have done all good deeds, you'll become a devta, you'll become a god in heaven. If you have done mixed deeds, you become a human. What kind of human you will be again based on your karmas, mixed. Those who have done good karmas, Bhagavan says, they were born in the house of yogis, in the house of, very wise people. Those who have done bad karmas could be born in the house of criminals or, drug addicts or alcoholics, or like you said, they're beaten, abused from childhood. But those who are even worse, then they get born in animal yonis. And among animals, there are different categories of animals. Like cow is considered a sattvic animal. Cow is considered a very sattvic animal because she sacrifices. Then there are rajasic animals. And I guess lion can be considered rajasic animal because they are into power. And then there are tamasic animals like germs and mosquitoes, which carry illness. So I mean, these are all just categories. The idea is that you will not be born in human, you will be born in an animal body, in an animal womb, where the animal's life is not happy. They're always being hunted, they are unhappy. One animal is trying to kill another and they are surviving. So the point is the law of karma applies. And if you have done evil deeds, you will be born in an animal family. And again, in animals, there are categories. So I just use an example of tiger because that is an animal that is feared by everybody. And nowadays, tigers' life is not easy because they are hunted, they are killed, they are put in cages, they are made to perform in circuses, they are whipped. So it's not pleasant. That's what the idea is. And there are all categories, from devas. Humans are mixed, ubhaya. If you have done mixed karmas, you become human. And among humans, you have a choice based on your actions. And then the last category is animals. And even among animals, you can be a cow or a buffalo or a tiger, or you can be a germ or a virus. You can be a coronavirus, which is killing millions of people. So So these are all tamasic animals. So that is the idea. I'm not saying that tigers are intrinsically wicked, but they are a lower yoni than humans. They are a lower birth. They don't have the intellect to think. But thank you. That's a good question. Does that answer your question or no? Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, we'll do the closing prayer. Those of you who are logging into the Lalita Sahasranamam, it will start today at 12:45, not at 1 o'clock. And there's a separate Zoom link it's not this link. There's a separate one for Lalita Sahasranama. If you don't have it, I can send it. I think Kusum doesn't have it. Everybody else has it. Anybody else needs that other link? You don't have it? Okay, I'll text it to you and to Kusum and to Kerry. Anybody else would like to log in? It will be at 12:45. We won't have at 6 p.m. today because we are already here, so we'll do it. Tomorrow and Tuesday will be at 6 p.m. Tomorrow and Tuesday will be at 6 p.m. And we'll finish on Tuesday, Lalita Sahasranama. Any other questions, comments, anything you agree, disagree with? Okay, we'll do the closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo. Hari Om. Thank you very much. Hari Om. I'll send the link to at 12:45. It will start. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We'll go to the hall for Aarti.
Thank you.
Thank you.